A year ago, Gaddafi was one of the world's longest-serving dictators, a murderer with American blood on his hands. Today, he is gone. And in Syria, I have no doubt that the Assad regime will soon discover that the forces of change cannot be reversed and that human dignity cannot be denied.
In the shadows of Libya's chaos, one name has begun to echo again: Saif al-Islam Gaddafi, the son of the late Muammar Gaddafi. His return to the political stage has sent shockwaves through Western capitals. And here are 10 reasons why. 1. The legacy of his father, Muammar Gaddafi, defied the West for decades, nationalizing oil, uniting Africa, and calling for a single African currency backed by gold. Saif carries that same anti-Western legacy. 1. Western guilt over Libya's destruction. The 2011 NATO intervention left Libya in ruins. A Gaddafi comeback reminds the world of who caused that chaos and the billions stolen from Libyans. 1. His popular support. Despite Western media narratives, many Libyans see Saif as a symbol of stability, remembering the order and prosperity that existed before 2011. 1. Control of Libya's oil. The West fears losing control over Libya's vast oil reserves, among the largest in Africa, if a nationalist like Saif returns to power. 1. His political revival. Saif has quietly built alliances across tribal and military factions, positioning himself as a unifying figure capable of restoring Libya's sovereignty. Let's go to the top 5 reasons, like this video, to support Africaized. 1. His anti-Western message. Saif has warned against foreign interference and spoken about African unity, echoing his father's dream of a self-reliant Africa. 1. Russia's interest. Moscow sees Saif as a potential ally which could shift Libya and North Africa away from Western influence toward BRICS powers. 1. Western fear of exposure. A Gaddafi-led Libya could open old files, revealing how Western nations looted Libya's funds and supported militias that destroyed the country. 1. Symbol of African resistance. Saif's rise would inspire nationalist movements across Africa to resist neo-colonial control. 1. The ghost of 2011. The West thought it buried the Gaddafi era forever, but Saif's return is proof history has a long memory, and Africa's spirit of resistance never dies. The story of Libya is far from over.
This man was killed for attempting to unite Africa. His plan was to make all Africans use one passport, one gold-backed currency, one army, and no Western control. But the world simply wasn't ready for that kind of change. This is Muammar Gaddafi, the Pan-African visionary who ruled Libya for 40 years. Under his leadership, Libya boasted of one of the highest standards of living in Africa. Here is what life under Gaddafi looked like. There was free electricity for every citizen, 100% free healthcare and education. Petrol was extremely cheap. Newlyweds received $50,000 from the government to start their homes. There was zero interest on loans, and if you couldn't find a job, the state paid you until you did. But while he built a strong Libya, Gaddafi was building something even bigger. A United States of Africa, where all Africans would share one passport, one gold-backed currency, one army, and full economic independence from the West, making the continent powerful and prosperous. Then something terrible happened in 2011 during the Arab Spring. Rebels rose up. Gaddafi's dream ended when he was captured and killed in his hometown. Some say his death wasn't just about rebellion. It was about stopping a man who's grown too powerful for the global order. To some, Gaddafi was a dictator who deserved to be unalived. To others, he was a hero who fought for Africa's pride and independence. But one thing is clear, Africa has never had another Gaddafi, and his dream of unity still lives in the hearts of many people. Only time and perhaps divine will tell if it will ever come true.
Muammar al-Gaddafi. The year is 2011. During that period, we have seen Gaddafi saying the Organization of African Unity is not doing what it ought to do. Let us change it to something else. He convened several meetings in Sirte in Libya, and he funds the African Union. He is saying that we must own our hospitality industry. He builds hotels in different parts of Africa. He says that we must control our oil. He builds different petrol outlets in the continent of Africa. He says that Africa must have its currency. He says that Africa must be free, and they say that Gaddafi must die. Recently, the president of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, narrated to the world why and when African leaders were prepared to fly to Libya to mediate, they were stopped by NATO and they were not allowed to go to Tripoli in Libya because NATO had taken the decision that Gaddafi must die. And Gaddafi died, and when Gaddafi died, we now know the state of Libya. We have different governments in Libya, and Libya is not the same again. The resources of Libya are being exploited. The resources of Libya are not being used for the benefit of the Libyan peoples, begging the question, why is assassination used to undermine Africa?
This is the best time that Africans are waking up and they are coming to know the truth behind everything that made Africa to be where it is today. And now, before I go deeper, as an African, as an Pan-African, and as a black man who is trying to achieve and push the agenda of African unity, the African freedom and independence, because we know and we believe that this that we are trying to advocate today, it costs some people's life. And I would like to say that may the soul of Muammar Gaddafi continue resting in peace, because he sacrificed his own life just to die for the African continent, because he always needed the best for African continent. He always needed the best for Africans, not only the Libyans, but the entire continent of Africa. He tried to fight for the one currency, one president, and one army, African continent. But now, because the truth and his leadership, his sovereignty was going to transform Africa into something else that the world and the Westerners never wanted such thing to happen, they eliminated him, telling Africans that Gaddafi was a great leader, a leader to terrorists. But Africans, because they never know the truth behind everything, they believed, they supported, they cheered when Barack Obama in Washington announced the death of Muammar Gaddafi as the most notorious terrorist who has been eliminated, and maybe revolution is going to happen and to come out in the country of Libya.
A year ago, Gaddafi was one of the world's longest serving dictators, a murderer with American blood on his hands. Today, he is gone. And in Syria, I have no doubt that the Assad regime will soon discover that the forces of change cannot be reversed and that human dignity cannot be denied. How this incredible transformation will end remains uncertain. But we have a huge stake in the outcome. And while it's ultimately up to the people of the region to decide their fate, we will advocate for those values that have served our own country so well.
And the Libyans are going to live in peace. But Libyans celebrated without knowing that the leader who had been eliminated was the only person who could have bring peace and joy on their faces. Today, since the death of Gaddafi, Libya has never been the same, has never found peace. A country that was mostly developed now has turned into a battlefield. A country that was based in Africa, a country that turned its oil into best economic and infrastructural country, today has turned into a chaotic country, battlefield, chaos, crisis, and deaths every day. Today, Libya has been separated into two, each side demanding their own freedom, each side raising their own flag, gunfire every corner, no peace. And today, we are hoping to see something different because we believe that this is the true return of Gaddafi.
Breaking news: the son of late Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi has been ordered freed on $11 million bail. The world watches as a powerful legacy makes a dramatic return. Big news out of Lebanon today. A judge has ordered the release of Hannibal Gaddafi, son of Muammar Gaddafi, on bail of $11 million after nearly 10 years in jail without formal charges.
Welcome back. This is Kenyan Explorer, and I welcome you, my brothers and sisters from Africa and across the ocean, because it comes a time when we sit down to present something like this. We don't just do it as a content, but we do it deeply from the heart because we are feeling all the betrayal, all the assassinations, all the downfall, how Africa has been taken. Because there are some people who have been taking African continent for granted. Because all this is happening because the people who are concerned about this, they know the truth behind Africa. They know the truth behind the blackness. And they know that behind blackness is power. And the strongest power that no one can ever eliminate or limit for not reaching where it is. They try to hide and bury the truth in the country of Libya by assassinating the great leader who was only fighting for the African interest, but not his own interest. But again today, the world is being surprised of all that's coming in the country of Libya, because this is something that they never expected. After the death of Muammar Gaddafi, they tried to eliminate the second born of Muammar Gaddafi, Yusuf, because Yusuf was a true heir of Muammar Gaddafi, because he was the blueprint of the regime and the governance of Muammar Gaddafi. And now, I'll have to confirm something here. So, I'm not a Libyan, but today, I know Gaddafi was a leader who successfully made Libya economy grow, mining and state assets increase, free healthcare, free education, free schools, and the people became more prosperous, united Africa, and dared to speak up for Africa. Yet he only liked to live in a desert tent. It's natural that America disliked him and carried out false flag operations and black operations against Gaddafi. America thinks that world's people are stupid. No, the world's people are not stupid, because the world knows that, but the American people don't, because they have been brainwashed, and the media is controlled to brainwash and control the minds of the people, and mostly the American people. That's why today, even if you come here to speak about the legacies, the achievements, and the struggles that were made by Muammar Gaddafi, many people will come to accuse, because up to this time, there's still, and many people, even in Africa, who still believes that Muammar Gaddafi was a notorious terrorist, a terrorist leader who was only trying or fighting to how and to destroy the lives of Africans, and he was in hand of the many assassination of American people, because after the announcement, during the time Barack Obama came to announce the death of Muammar Gaddafi, he mentioned something, that a notorious leader, a terrorist leader has been successfully assassinated, Muammar Gaddafi, who has been the reason of many Americans.
A year ago, Gaddafi was one of the world's longest-serving dictators, a murderer with American blood on his hands.
But today, during that time, people never knew the truth behind the existence and the struggle of Muammar Gaddafi, until the time Libya came to realize, after they have lost everything, that's when they came to realize that they lost a leader, but not a politician. Gaddafi stood tall when he raised the flag of freedom, not only for Libya, but for the entire African nation. His death did not mean his flag has fallen, yet it appeared the flag stood higher. The flag that Gaddafi had lifted higher has been seen by his children in the nation of Africa. Same colors, songs with rhythm is still as he had painted. We who did not love the colors of the flag, now it's time we get to adjust to the situation before it's too late to us. And now, I'm not a Libyan, but Libya needs a leader like Gaddafi to stabilize Libya from chaos created by Western countries and left it to be doomed, this ensuring their control over Africa. It will be very hard for Gaddafi's son to take over Libya as soon Western powers will not allow it to happen. But again, what is happening? We as Africa, because all those years that Libya was very strong, firm, and developed, Muammar Gaddafi was trying so hard to make sure that the influence of the Westerners will not be come to take over the country of Gaddafi. But because the people, or the Libyans themselves, they never knew the truth behind the Westerners. They never knew the truth behind the influence of the Westerners. That's why they never stood firm to protect Muammar Gaddafi. That's why they never stood firm to address or to come out to support, to protect their leader who was only fighting for their own interest. Muammar Gaddafi used to live in a desert. He used to live in a desert, in a tent, while his people lived in best houses. They lived best life. They acquired to cheap life because life in Libya was very cheap. Every citizens owned a house. Every citizens acquired to the basic needs. Schools was free, healthcare, and every children acquired to the best medical system. But they never knew the truth behind everything until it was too late. And the only way it can happen provided Libyans come in full support of him, and he can bring the same facilities for Libya as his father did. Today, Libya has been divided into two. There are some people who are still believing in the spirit of Muammar Gaddafi. So those are the people who still believe that the change can only be brought by the son of Gaddafi. But some of them, they are viewing this as a revenge, that maybe his son is only coming to avenge the death of his father, which was done by America. And these two people, when they come together, they can bring out something so constructive, which can even shakes the entire Western, entire Europe, entire America. But these people who are still against the decision of Muammar Gaddafi that he is coming to rebuild the destroyed country of Libya, who is coming to bring peace and hope that his father stood for, who is coming to bring change in the country of Libya, because he believes that Libya can still do it. He believes that Libya can still stand and restored. Who still believes that the spirit of his father, who was fighting for the freedom of Africa, not only Libya, is still fighting for him, is still working through him, can do it. And he can restore everything that was built, that was taken out of Libya. He can still rebuild the country of Libya. And Libyan's people feel like they are still living under the regime of Gaddafi. Because today the people who are against his this son of Libya are the are those who are supporting the anti-governmental freedom of those years. Many years have passed. They tried to eliminate him because after the death of Muammar Gaddafi in 2011. That's when everything started. NATO was behind every step that this son of Gaddafi was passing. They even opened a case and arrested him. He was arrested and detained by Court of Criminal Justice, ICC. But today he's living freely because the Libyan people who believed in him, they're saying that they cannot allow him to be taken by ICC. They can handle their own case domestically. So this has brought peace or has brought hope to many Libyans. And not only Libyans, because every time I come here to speak about freedom and revolution of Africa, I must mention the name of Gaddafi, the names of Patrice Lumumba, the name of Kwame Nkrumah, because I believe that through the spirits of these great people, these great Africans, these great Pan-Africans, we can still do it. We are still coming here each and every day to speak about the freedom of Africa, because there are some people who stood for this. There are some people who started to advocate and pressure this. There are some people who came to speak about this agenda. That's why today, all that we are doing, all that you are watching Ibrahim Traore today doing in the country of Burkina Faso, there is someone who started doing that. If you can remember the legacy of Thomas Sankara, many people say that Ibrahim Traore is a reincarnation of Thomas Sankara, which is true. Many people say that Ibrahim Traore, Julius Malema are the reincarnation of Kwame Nkrumah, which is true, because even the time these leaders were being assassinated, they had something. They left. They were speaking the greatest or the heaviest words, which they believe that those are the living words that it will never die until their agendas and their dreams will be achieved. So today, when we see a lineage or a bloodline from Muammar Gaddafi is coming to take over the power and be amongst the leaders in Africa, then we have to know that all that we have been praying for is coming to happen. I've been always coming here to say that today, this year is a year of African restoration, because we have many proofs. We have seen all that has happened in the country of America. Many black Americans ditching American land, American dream, and relocate back to Africa, starting life there, building, uniting with their African brothers and sisters, watching the great empires fighting against themselves, France fighting, losing control over their people, watching Britain, the entire Britain, France, UK, fighting people going on the street, while Africans are developing, Africans are resisting, they're expelling every Westerners in African land. This all that's happened today is not accidentally, but we have to know, if you are a really believer in democracy, not democracy, in an African history, then you must know all that's happening. Because all time we've been coming here to speak about this. There are many people who started to speak about this some years ago, and some people were like, these people are just making content. This is not our content. This is a message that people are trying to pass so that it can hit the black people across the world, across the globe, so that wherever you are as a black man, as a black woman, you must know that this is the year of restoration. That's why we are watching things are happening in a mysterious way, whereby we are asking questions. Is this the year that was promised? Because this is a prophecy, this is a spiritual awakening. This is something that our forefathers, our enslaved ancestors were praying for. They believed that one day something like this will happen. They believed that a day like this will come. So today when you see something like happening, like a lineage, someone is coming from the lineage of Muammar Gaddafi, and he's coming to take over the country of Libya as leader. He's coming to be among the leaders in Africa. This is one of the leaders that maybe we believe, and I truly believe this, that he's coming to be a leader, just like Captain Ibrahim Traore, just like many African leaders who are truly standing today and they're speaking the truth. They are behind the truth of sovereignty, of freedom and evolution. Africa is going to be liberated completely. This is not a story. This is not something that people are just coming to speak about, but this is the truth that's coming. The truth that was hidden, that was buried many years and centuries over centuries, is rising today and is hitting so hard. So, despite the NATO's, despite the CIA, despite the influence or the decisions of America, Europe, and Great Britain, because all that is happening today, they are not ready to accept it. They are not ready to receive it positively. But again, Africans today are awake. They know what to do. They're not in a point of being dictated. They're not in a point of being told what to do. That's why we are watching Africa and we are seeing Africa is rising. Africa is rising. Not by going to the battlefield, not by standing with the greatest weapons, but standing by the truth and the youth as the greatest weapon. We believe that not that far, but soon the freedom is coming, and Africa is going to rule as how it was intended and how it was built, because we believe that Africa was created and made to be great and the great ruler of the world, because as it is believed that Africa was the mother civilization, mother to mankind, then it's time for the African motherland to prove itself to the world that this is what I made too. And I will not take much of your time, because I had something pushing me to speak and to share something which I believe that it has to hit many black people, many Africans, as much as it can, so that we have to stay knowing that something is happening and something is being cooked, whereby we only have to sit down and wait for the results, because we believe that this is the time of Africa and the black people across the world, because despite oppression, we have still been able to rise and reclaim our dignity that was taken out of our life, out of African continent many years, but still it is here and demanding its freedom. Until next time, we can do the same. Thank you very much for being here each and every time. I appreciate your support, because you're doing great. For those sending super thanks, sharing, commenting, kindly don't stop doing this, because we have to do this. Join my membership so that we can build this channel. We build, and we have enough time to sit and share our ideas, share our views, and really know what is supposed to be done as Africans to make sure that we build the strongest Africa as how it was created, how it was built, because we believe that Africa was blessed from the first day it was created. That's why we don't only speak about leadership, about political issues. We are speaking about culture. We are speaking about development. We speak about the scramble and everything. Africa is here to claim its dignity. Until next time, until next episode, we can do the same. Thank you and be blessed wherever you're from.